got a special video today that you need to take a little time and take a look at this. There's one thing that I would have never thought about doing going to Sturgis is to go to the museum, not just the museum, but the
induction of the Hall of Fame.
Yep, and it's usually on, I think it was Tuesday, wasn't it?
I believe so.
And they usually have it on every Tuesday during the rally. They have it out at Deadwood at the convention center there. So it's really worth going to check out because it's the who's who of the motorcycle industry. So we're just going to show you a quick version of this because it was actually about a 4-hour ceremony going on. So it's a lot longer and I didn't put everybody on there. But I wanted to show you some of the great things. Also, the other thing, if you don't want to go for the breakfast, go to the parking lot to see the bikes. So stay long enough to where you can see all these great bikes that I caught on camera. And we put a little music to it so you got something to look at and take a look at these bikes. You don't see these at most of the custom bike shows because a lot of these guys are the hamsters, some of the greatest people in America that are bikers.
In the industry.
Yep, so it's really great things to see. So stay tuned, watch this, and if you see who's who, let us know down here in the comments who you've seen that was famous.
In the video.
And I actually met Sugar Bear there.
How about that?
I didn't show you his picture, but he's in the video. So sit back, enjoy this, and let me know what you think about this. And we'll talk about this at another time about this museum inductees that they have. But it's really something special, so stay tuned, watch all the way to the end, and let me know what you think about the inductees.
There you go. Tell us what you think.
Because everybody knows, anybody that works in this industry, the money comes and goes. You might make it, you might fail, you might get a chance to make it or fail again, but to actually have your name in the history books of this, to say that the thing that you loved your whole life, you got to participate in some way, small or big, you got to make a difference there. That's worth every dollar that they could give me. And I've been privileged for that, only because of all of you people, so thank you so much for that. It's given me the greatest gifts. I've met every one of my heroes. Most are in this room right now, and that's why I'm so damn nervous. But I've met all my heroes. I've gone to all the far out places, the rallies. I used to sit and read the magazines, and I wanted to be there. I got to do all that. I got to build motorcycles and race stuff and have fun. And even my wife, my best friend in the world, I met through this world. And it changed my life forever. Because like it said in that video, if you don't have somebody to turn around when you see the amazing things that we see and say, hey, did you see that? It's only half as cool. So I'm gonna let go with this. Please, whatever we have to do, just continue to make sure this is here for that next person.
We're at the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum Hall of Fame breakfast. Excited to see a lot of people that have done a lot of good things for the Sturgis Rally getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. So excited to be here.
So do you guys live in the States?
Hey, buddy. Absolutely. Table 7, you're up front left.
Get into the Hall of Fame.
It's humbling. I'm used to exalting people, not being exalted, so it's a little uncomfortable to be honest, but I'm truly honored, truly. I think you're drinking the right one.
You can summarize Jay Allen's life by saying he did it with passion. Whether it was the first broken spoke, the 55 land speed records, or emceeing events around the company. Jay Allen described his early childhood as wonderful. He spent summers with his grandfather at the ranch. His grandfather, a veteran of the Spanish-American War, was one of Jay's first mentors. Early on, Jay's life was a balancing act, from running free when he was with his mom in Southern California to the guardrails and structure of living with his dad. Jay didn't grow up in a motorcycling family, but when he was 12, he bought his first motorcycle, an $8 Suzuki 50. Jay recalls that the bike did not run, but he coasted over to a neighbor, Mr. Drayton, who could fix anything mechanical. In short order, he removed years of neglect and the bike ran. Jay had his first taste of motorcycling and the true freedom all riders know. That Suzuki was liberating for Jay. He could jump on and just go. Jay had a life-changing event one night when his mom asked him to run to the store for a pack of smokes. He was hit by a 1963 Impala and did not walk for a year. He went from being an active, athletic kid to being humbled by his accident and the healing process. He got a small settlement from the accident, which he used to buy a 1959 Sportster. That Sportster and a black and white quarter horse paint were his sole means of transportation. After being kicked out of the house at 16, he went to work as a farrier apprentice and at 7-Eleven. Jay kept searching for a meaning and purpose in life. He bought a one-way ticket to Hawaii. His first act of faith started when he got on the plane at LAX with zero money. All he had saved was in his windbreaker, and the jacket was stolen at the airport. Once he landed in Hawaii, he hitchhiked to Lahaina and found a place to stay. He met Ardella, who put him to work at the diner within a week. He was hired as the head banquet waiter at the Sheraton Maui. All the time, he was living in a cave. He came back to the mainland and reconnected with Claudia. They had a daughter, Andrea, together. Jay had been without a bike for a while. Then, another life-changing moment. Jay had run to town to get propane. There at the gas station was Arlen Ness. Jay ran over and talked with Arlen. Jay recalled, Arlen was so kind, patient, and informative. Arlen really ignited the spark in me, he said. Jay went straight home to Claudia and committed they'd ride the Redwood Run the following year on a panhead, and that they would never be without a bike again. Jay and Claudia transformed that dream into the Broken Spoke. The Spoke became a large enterprise with locations at all the big bike rallies. Jay's background in customer service and customer experience paid off. That production focused on delivering a fun, safe experience and fostering camaraderie for all the people there. Jay said, if I can deliver on that and I'm good at what I do, I will help you make memories. Jay made the jump into land speed racing when he bought a 1946 Indian Chief from Buck Lovell. The bike was originally intended as a decoration. After 10 years of being an ornament, Jay took the bike to Bonneville. He was bitten by the land speed bug and now is on his 20th year of land speed racing and holds 55 land speed records. Motorcycling has been the greatest influence in Jay's life. His heroes have become family, and he has been able to help people make memories that last a lifetime. He is no longer an empty vessel, but filled with the experiences from the industry, heritage, and history of motorcycling. Jay says, every night I go to bed knowing tomorrow I'm going to get to ride my motorcycle. It's the best feeling in the world. Jay thanks Claudia, Andrea, and all who supported him in his journey. He is humbled to be inducted into the Sturgis Motorcycle Museum's Hall of Fame.
The person who's going to present Jay Allen is a unique entity unto herself. She is one of the few people that I know who is not only one of America's sweethearts, but a complete and total American badass. This woman could ride a rocket to the moon, and she's friends with almost everybody in this room, I am sure. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Hall of Famer Jody Perewitz.
Good morning, everybody. So when I was asked by Keith Terry to introduce Jay Allen, I was truly honored and humbled. I know humbled is a big word around here. If you've been inducted into the Hall of Fame, you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I figured I would give you guys my side of Jay Allen because you already got the technical side. You already read the book, you know the facts and everything. So him and I share a passion for racing. Before my first experience on the salt, Jay shared his stories and taught me about the ever-changing conditions of the salt. Jay is a man who has been chasing records at Bonneville for a long time, accomplishing many records, including a few over 200 miles an hour. This guy is always eager to share his experience with me. So the thing about the salt is, you can't ask Siri or Alexa what it's going to be like. You have to hear it truly from people that have been out there that have actually tasted the salt. Jay quickly became my mentor on how to handle this foreign surface and a lot of horsepower. Him and I have had many passionate conversations about the salt and motorcycles in general. I had an experience on the course at Bonneville, and when it happened, I could hear Jay telling me about a similar experience he had, and it was his words that got through my head in that moment that saved me out on the salt. I used to hold 17 land speed records, but I recently lost one. It was taken by Jay. So in a way, I am honored that my mentor is now faster than me. That is until I get back out there, Jay. The salt is just a side hobby of this guy. He is a pioneer in the entertainment world, mixing motorcycles and fun, creating the broken spokes. If you have ever visited one of these, you know what a great place it is to hang out at during the rallies. emceeing most of the activities at the Broken Spoke, he has become a celebrity and a brand ambassador for these bars as well as the motorcycle industry. Friendly and knowledgeable, many people flock to Jay, including myself. Jay is the perfect fit for the Motorcycle Hall of Fame, and like myself, he eats, sleeps, and breathes two wheels. So welcome to the Hall of Fame, Jay Allen.
Yeah, I didn't write anything out for this. I thought I'm just going to let it roll. But and what you guys said in that film said a whole bunch of it. Most of all, I got to tell you, I am used to exalting people. I'm embarrassed about this. I'm not used to being exalted. It's very uncomfortable for me. But I am so humbled by the people in this room. And God, when I look at Mr. Sugar Bear and Donnie and Dave and all you other icons out there and so many people that contributed to this industry, it makes me think of a puzzle, because me at the Broken Spoke, to really run an operation, the trash person, the toilet person, the beer stockers are just as important as the guy that owns the bar, if you can make that experience and really create those memories for your riders. And that's what this room is comprised of. It's the puzzle. And what I'm realizing by standing up here is I am so honored to be a part of that puzzle. It just blows me away. But I'd like to tell you we all screw up in life, and I started out, I never missed Sturgis for 30 years in a row, not one. And I started out at Mr. Al's swap meet. And I manufactured deerskin riding gloves. We had sheepskins. They were called Sure Shots. And we had knives. But I was, one year, I developed, and I'm the first one ever to develop this, is the helmet with the horse tail and the buffalo horns. I developed the very first one. There was a girl who would come by the Mr. Al swap meet, and her name was Cindy Dahl, and she dealt in animal parts. I mean, she had bear jaws. We made bear jaw knives. They were so cool. But I had this vision, and she had horse tails. So I took a grinder and I ground out the horse tails, rounded them off on the end, riveted them down the helmet, filled the horns full of resin, set the bolts in the horns, screwed holes in the sides of the helmet, and tightened them down. And here I have this Mad Max thing, and I'm going to make a fortune in Sturgis with these things. I'm going to make a kill at Mr. Al's swap meet. So I had the prototype, and naturally I had to get the biggest bull horns I could find, because bigger is always better, right? So my buddy and I are jamming up I-10 going to a toy run in Tucson, and that helmet is killing me. My neck, I'm going, oh. I also think, oh, and the horn gets caught under my brake cable. No bullshit. I start to lift my head, and the helmet goes over my eyes. My buddy's sitting to my right, and he's pissing his pants. He thinks this is really funny, you know? And I got smart. I've done this racing too. When I think I'm gonna die, I start talking to myself, get your shit together, and do this. So I say, go to the line, get the flashing lines, and just look at them, and then work your way out of this goddamn brake cable. So I did, and we pulled over, and I was pretty shaken up by that, but that, you know, it's funny, all of our successes, I think all of you agree, and I know so many industry giants in here, we succeed by failures, and those failures are some of the best stories there are, right? But 30 years at the Broken Spoke, all I could say as a synopsis is all the relationships with the people that brought me all my products, and the customers were just phenomenal. But more importantly than anything, first off, I hope I did make memories. People say, what do you do for a living? I said, if I'm good at what I do, I make memories. And you guys come back and share those with me. And it just validates that, hey, it was working. You know, it was really working. So anyway, I think I'll just wind this up and say thank you all very much. I'm so humbled, and I'm honored to be part of your club. God bless every one of you. And like I always say, you keep the shiny side up and the rubber side down. I love you guys.
Presenting Scott Jacobs is a publisher, an advocate, an educator, a very gracious and intelligent, badass racer, and the author of the American Motorcycle Rally. If I got my notes right, remember the American Motorcycle Rally. This person just travels to help people learn more and appreciate more, not only about motorcycles, but about women riders as well. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Chris Simmons. And some of you may have heard of him before, her husband, Mr. Chris Simmons, Pat Simmons himself from the Doobie Brothers.
I love so many people in this room. I get so emotional. I didn't write anything, but I love you guys. And Scott, I want to let Pat, I have my own Rock and Roll Hall of Famer with me right here. But he wants to say a few things first, and then I'll jump in there. But thank you guys for coming. And oh my God, Jay Allen. Gee, all you guys. I mean, just Chris, I love you so much. I mean, you know how I feel about you. Anyway, I want to let Pat talk first, so he wants to say a few things about Scott.
Thank you, Chris. So great to be here this afternoon. I just was asked to say a few words a couple of days ago. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning, shaking, thinking about what am I going to say. It's easy to play guitar and, kind of do what I do, but having to speak to an audience is a whole other thing. So I'll do my best here if I don't knock this off the stage. Chris and Jay, I've got to say congratulations to those guys. Everybody here in the room knows, they know everyone, and just wonderful people. They certainly enhanced my life, just knowing them. So anyway, motorcycles is what brought us all here today to celebrate this moment together. We all come from different backgrounds and beliefs, but our passion for bikes is really what makes us part of a larger family. We were trying to figure out how we met Scott and Sharon last night so we could talk about it today. I feel like I've known him forever, both of them. But I'm pretty sure Clyde, the Glide Fessler, introduced us. Clyde introduced my wife Chris and I to each other right here at the Sturgis Rally 34 years ago. We just celebrated our 34th anniversary together here at the place we met, so it's pretty fantastic. Let's see, where was I? By my recollection, it was 15 or 20 years ago, something like that, that he introduced us to Scott and Sharon. We just hit it off immediately. I think Clyde loved introducing people he liked to each other. He was a people person and somehow instinctively knew we would be drawn to each other as friends. But it all started with motorcycles, of course. All of us here love bikes, but when it comes right down to it, it's the people we meet through our shared passion who bring us closer to the true nature of who we are and what we aspire to be. A person like Scott makes you want to be a better person. His enthusiasm for life, the arts, his love for his family and his friends inspires all those he touches. His kindness, empathy, tolerance, generosity, and wisdom are examples for all of us. He's a loving husband, a father, and now a grandfather who is greatly loved in return. Of course, you really get to know someone when you ride with them. Riding style tells you so much about a person. Their patience, judgment, thoughtfulness, and generosity all come into play. You can take it from me, Scott is someone you could follow anywhere and know you'd enjoy the ride. Thank you.
I didn't write anything down because I'm kind of dumb, but it's okay. One of the first times I met Scott, I just couldn't believe how talented, the talent is just unbelievable. It's like everywhere. And then he's so gracious. I mean, we come here every couple of years, every year, and he's like, oh, come and stay with us. I'm like, okay, He's like, help yourself. There's stuff in the refrigerator, and if you're hungry, here, take this. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm good. It's okay. And so, he knows how much I like chocolate. I just love chocolate. So, I'm tired. I'm coming home after. I think Pat was with me that time, and I go in the bedroom, and there's a chocolate kiss on the pillow, and I'm like, really? He put chocolate on the pillow for me? You're kidding. And I get a little closer, I'm going, that ain't chocolate, that's dog shit. So I was like, maybe he doesn't like me that much. But anyway, it was Stella. Stella didn't like me being in her room. That's the dog. It's Olivia's dog, actually. I wasn't gonna tell that story because it's kind of like dog poop story, but it was true. But anyway, and like Pat said, riding with people and riding on the Cannonball. And Sharon, you amazed me how you jumped in and learned how to ride that foot clutch. And Scott is so patient and he's so good on the roll chart. I did a couple of Cannonballs, but I've done 4. You guys have done a couple, but we teamed up in 2014 and did a lot of riding together. And now Scott had trouble with his coil and his 26. And here are the guys on the side of the road. And I'm looking at his artist hands, and his knuckles are busted and they're bleeding. He's like, look at my hands. I'm really doing it. I'm like, yeah, don't hurt yourself anymore. But we had so much fun riding together and the Cannonball and just everything we do. And like we said, we had an argument like, how long, when did we meet? And nobody could figure it out, like, oh, well, we're all freaking old, we don't know, we don't care. Because I won't see him for a while, but you're like I have 5 brothers, he's my 6th brother, and I love him dearly. And the girls, oh my God, they're so talented. The whole family is Alexa's painting, Olivia's photography, and the kids are wonderful. We're just so happy that we're part of your family. And you're so talented, and it's a joy to be with you guys every time. So anyway, I want to, without further ado, can I bring one of my best friends up here, Scott Jacobs?
I can't believe they told the poop story. The first time they're staying at our house, the dog jumps on the bed and takes a crap on their pillow. I was going to pick up Tootsie Rolls for their stay this time, and I was going to put them in the pan and kind of soften them up a little bit and put it back on their bed. I chickened out. But how cool is this? Man, it's a wave of yellow out there. I was talking to Dave Perewitz the other day, and he was telling me how they came up with the name Hamsters, and he said originally we were going to be called the Uglies, but we were just too good looking. Half the group laughed at that. No, I'm so honored to be here. This has been, the motorcycle industry is, it's just been such a huge part of our life, for my daughters. They used to do TV commercials for Harley Davidson. They've been in their print ads. Sharon, my wife, started, I remember teaching her how to riding around our pool back in New Jersey on a Harley Sportster. 1994, I come to Sturgis for the first time. I meet Barry Cooney. Barry Cooney says, we're having this little party over at the Philtown Inn, and I guess it was Perry Sands and Ted Sands and Mike Corbin did a party every year. And he says, you got to come over here and meet everybody. So first day, I meet Keith Ball, I meet Arlen Ness, I meet all the big heads of the industry who took me under their wing and said, you got to meet this person, you got to meet that person. So within the first year, it was featured in Easy Rider magazine. I was in VQ magazine. A couple years later, I'm on the cover of American Iron magazine. And it's because of all you guys. Like Leah was saying, this really is a big family. There's a lot of people around the world that ride motorcycles, but we're a tight family. I mean, how many times you get pulled over on the side of the road because you see a biker, then you don't know them, but you want to help them. I remember what's his name, Bruce Springsteen. There was a thing on the news where he broke down and a couple guys had pulled over to help him out and they didn't even realize it was Bruce Springsteen. So it's pretty cool. I was a little pissed off actually about a year ago when they kicked me off the board of the Hall of Fame. They're like, we're kicking you off so you can get inducted. So it's okay, thank you. I really appreciate that. But I've been painting, I opened my first gallery in 1978. Like the film said, I used to do a lot of celebrities' portraits and things like that for years, and then early 90s I was hanging out and talking on the phone. I wanted to go a different direction with my work, and I had been painting cars. I was a motorcycle lover since I was small, and so a guy named Ron Koppel, who was a sales guy for us for a long time, he goes, you know, motorcycles are really big, you love them, and why don't you start doing that? So I started doing that in early 1993, and then I went to the Art Expo in New York and also in LA, and Harley Davidson's licensing arm called the Beanstalk Group told me I couldn't do what I was doing. Basically, I got a cease and desist in the mail, and they said, you got to stop this. So I kept doing it. And then luckily Jeff Bluestein came to one of the shows that I had, and he goes, is this the guy you're talking about? And I said, yeah. And they're like, well, let's just license this guy. And they're like, well, we don't license artwork. And I was like, well, you just told me I had to be licensed to do this. Now you're telling me you don't license artwork. So after a few months of negotiating, back in 1993, I became the first artist licensed by Harley Davidson to start the fine art program. You know, and then David Ewell, who's sitting over here, he came in and he started about 5 years after me, and Jeff Decker, you know his work. I have an experiment. I'm gonna tell you guys a couple names, and then after I give you a list of names, I want you to put your hands up, okay? First off, David Ewell, Eric Herman, Nepper, Scott Jacobs, David Mann. Everybody in the room, if you have one of our pieces of art, raise your hand. Look at that. It makes me teary-eyed.
Continue to support the motorcycle industry. That's everybody. Continue to support you and me and my beautiful wife and our kids. And they hopefully someday our grandkids. On stage is the beautiful trophy engraved with all of the recipients' names right over here. It is displayed year-round at the museum. In addition, Jeff Decker handcrafts a custom bronze each year for this recipient. I am so honored to announce Donnie Smith as the class of the 2023. Hang on. Arlen's Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. And we're gonna take a few minutes to watch Donnie's video.
Over the decades, custom motorcycling has seen good times and bad. Motorcycle builders have been on the top of the heap and relegated to the back alley. But for the faithful, those ingrained wrenches and riders who long ago claimed biking as their life's work, custom motorcycles are as sublime and necessary as ever. Among those few stalwarts who succeeded in the game is Donnie Smith, a man known for his custom creations, not only in the Midwest, but around the world. He'll be the first to tell you that his early riding experiences didn't exactly predict a happy life on two wheels. No, motorcycles were not his first choice. It was Uncle Elwood that got Donnie involved in bikes. Donnie was raised on his parents' dairy farm in Donnelly, Minnesota. He graduated from the West Central School of Agriculture in 1960 and moved to Minneapolis soon after. After a 2-year tour of duty with the United States Army, Donnie returned to Minneapolis and set up a performance car shop. One day in the early 70s, Elwood Spear brought his Sportster into the drag race shop Donnie ran with his brother, Happy, and his buddy Bob Fetro. He wanted them to rake the bike's neck. Donnie said, "We were 3 farm kids. We thought rake was something you did with hay." Though they had day jobs and were busy working on the Barracuda funny car they'd planned to race, they did their best for Elwood. Soon, Elwood's friends took notice, and the shop, Smith Brothers, and Fetro started getting more bike work. A while later, when someone wanted a Springer and there were none to be found, the guys gave that a try too. Then girders and tanks and fenders, and so it went. After a year or so, their bookkeeper said, "You know, if you got rid of this race car, you could make a living out of this motorcycle thing." And so they did. Now one of the top builders in the nation, Donnie Smith Custom Cycle in Coon Rapids, Minnesota, produces motorcycling masterpieces. Along with American Thunder Production, Donnie hosts the Donnie Smith Bike Show in St. Paul, Minnesota annually. Donnie Smith was inducted into the Sturgis Hall of Fame in 1995, and again in 2018 as a member of the Hamster Motorcycle Group, of which he's a founding member. Donnie has Lifetime Achievement Awards from V-Twin and Hot Bike magazines. In 2010, the mayor of Spearfish, South Dakota proclaimed March 28, 2010 to be Donnie Smith Day and awarded Donnie a key to the city.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know you want to do this right away. Let's give Donnie Smith a round of applause before we even call him up. Legend, family man, everything we said and more. The one and only King of Flames, ladies and gentlemen, Jody Perewitz.
Well, Donnie and I have a long history together. We first met briefly in 1975 at a show in Detroit. I also met Alan Ness, Ron Finch, Ed Kerr, and several other guys. The following year, we all met at Alan Ness's house to go to the Oakland Roadster show. And that was quite a story. We did that for 3 or 4 years, maybe longer. We had limos and a lot of tequila. And anyways, Donnie and I have been friends, good friends ever since. We've traveled together, done a lot of bike shows together, a lot of events together, a lot of riding together. He comes out and stays with me. I go out there and stay with him. Donnie's continued to build first-class, top-quality bikes. And at 81 years old, he's still doing it strong, coming up with cool shit. And Donnie Smith certainly deserves the Alan Ness Achievement Award.
I guess I'm gonna have a hard time with this, but I'll do my best. I'm very, very honored to be up here. I've got tons of friends here. I want to thank the Ness family for the award. I know Bev is here, the boys are here, Sherry's probably here too, and all them. And I'm just. Part of the Hampshire group, which I'm very, very proud of that. We got 300 people, 350 people. We got $300,000 to kids Monday night. We give out about $5 to $6 million to the children for Lifescape, and which is a very honor. I love building bikes. Raised on a farm with no electricity and no water to start with, but we made it through that. I went to this college for farm kids, which I thought was, I only went to school 6 months a year so we could farm, And I got into racing cars, gas coupes and sedan, which only the older guys don't know what that's all about. Coupes, Willis coupes and that. Got into funny cars for 4 years, and I just heard the story about the economy, and been doing it ever since. Still ride. Bought a couple of new bikes just lately. Are you still buying bikes? I'm not giving up, I've been here 51 years to Sturgis. Yeah, never missed one.
Part of the reason why I'm here is because I can keep things rolling and I'm good with But the big thing is, the reason I'm here is because you guys are my wife, myself, all of our family. On behalf of my kids, my grandkids, and everybody involved with Bikers Against Bullies USA, thank you, because if it wasn't for you, there would be none of that. Ladies and gentlemen, Leah, on behalf of the 2000. Did you have fun? Did you have fun? Isn't it great? Have Burt Monroe's granddaughter here, isn't that cool, right? So, Nick Trask, give her a ride, baby, give her a ride. Yeah. On behalf of 2023, Sturgis Museum and Hall of Fame, thank you for coming to this banquet. We love you, we want you safe. Keep doing what you do because there is nobody in America that pays it forward more than the American biker. Everybody work closing this out. God bless. As Jay Allen says, shiny side up and rubber down. Have a great Sturgis, folks. Thank you so much.